things, but underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of it is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.
So Democrats think they finally found their own Trump. Only problem, by their rules, he's a Nazi. Yeah, Graham Plattner, the dude with a Nazi skull and crossbones branded across his chest. We're talking full-ass Nazi. If this guy were any more of a Nazi, he'd be burning books, starting with this one. And yet Plattner is now his party's frontrunner for November's Senate election in Maine. And all the people who called you a Nazi for voting for Trump seem fine with it. So how did this happen? He knocked Maine's governor, Janet Mills, out of the race, who cited difficulties raising money. It's kind of amazing. She's the governor who surrendered to a Nazi. What is she? French? Now Plattner's pulling ahead of Republican Susan Collins, so Dems are excited. It's like they have a goose in their step. Thank you, Michael.
Not guilty to guilty, and in return, he's hoping to get some leniency from the judge at sentencing. This was a crazy scene back in January when Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was speaking at a town hall calling for then DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to step down when Kazmierzak jumped up, rushed her, and sprayed her with a liquid from a syringe while shouting of Noem, "She's not resigning, you are splitting Minnesota apart." That liquid ended up being apple cider vinegar, but Kazmierzak is now facing up to 8 years in prison for assaulting the Congresswoman. With this plea deal, though, given that he doesn't have a criminal record, prosecutors are recommending he face a maximum of 14 months. Last night at a town hall with a group of high school students, Omar did not mention the attack and didn't say a word about fraud, despite missing a deadline to turn over records to the State House Fraud Committee of any communications she had with individuals who have been convicted in Minnesota's.
I thought it was extremely unfair for he was a Trump appointee originally to the Department of Justice, to offer his own opinions about the mental acuity or age of the President of the United States. I've been with the President of the United States many times. He is on the ball. The man knows more than most of us have forgotten.
I think the man has dementia. I don't really understand how it works up there for him. I think it's kind of a sad state of affairs because someone who's suffering from dementia, I mean, they genuinely need help. And there's no one around him who wants to help him.
You might know. And that is where we did a study recently this fall in September. And what it showed is if we don't electrify our transportation sector, that we're going to lose more than 500,000 Californians dying prematurely to air pollution and other problems. And the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't meet the commitments under the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot. Okay, I'm going to start again with electric vehicle saving.
There was one reservoir that was out of commission. He is correct. 1 million years ago, it was for wildfires.
You lie!
But over the last 30, 40 years, it's been for drinking water.
You ain't nothing but a liar.
He talked about the winds. That is just completely inaccurate.
No way.
This is an hour-by-hour forecast here, and you can see that over the next couple of hours, we still have some pretty decent gusts.
If that were accurate, then the planes would have been able to fly. And so the winds reach close to 100 miles an hour.
Nope.
And through parts of Pacific Palisades, we've got some gusts up into the 20 to 30 mile per hour range.
And the planes were unable to fly.
So she's an incredible liar.
The devil is a liar. Bitch, I'm the truth. The devil is a liar.
love how he doesn't talk down to kids. He's great with kids because he's kind of great with people. He's one-on-one and in groups. And if you don't like him, that's fine. I don't care. But why do you care that I like him? That's the key to all this.
Because he's like a completely morally bankrupt person that's
But why should you care that I like him? Why
well, I have accepted that you like him, but I think it's hard for people when they care about someone.
Whoa.
To say,
this is the perfect thing. Why do they care? Tell me why. What's underneath?
Okay. Well, care leads to voting, and then voting leads to bad policies
why can I not be a friend of yours if you like Trump?
If he was your friend, I'd be much more chill about it. But because you like him, he's my president.
Well, I think she's misdiagnosed. It has nothing to do with morality. You don't care about morality.
Of course we do.
Your party doesn't support standards of morality. Anything. You can do drugs. You can be homeless. You can hit people, rape people, let other murderers into the country. You can do all kinds of things. They don't judge.
They're going to let
the
son of Sam. You're going to let the son of Sam out of jail. The son of Sam.
You guys apologize to a guy who tried to shoot the president.
Keep the son of Sam.
Your morality.
Judge said that.
Don't talk to morality. Don't talk to Bill Clinton about morality.
You guys got evangelicals to support a guy who has cheated on every single wife that he's had.
But who cares if I like him?
I said I don't care. I have accepted
why do your peers? I'm doing a Scott Jennings. Get your finger out of my face. Why do liberals care that we like him? It's because they cannot get themselves emotionally out of the way.
All right, Thursday night, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing good. As always, be blessed in the mighty name of Jesus. Let me say to everybody in the chat, I am down at the bottom. Let me see here. Clean Sanchez is on K4. VMS is on. General Plowman is on. Guitar Glenn is on. Earth Tours is on. Granite 2468 is on. Jeannie Malfeasy is on. Skunk 71 is on. Let me see here. Scrolling down. Aggravain is on. Robin Aroni is on. Sexy Pony is on. PD Frank is on. Sunwoo 45 is on. Scooter Magruder is on. Jules 21 Hours is on. Ever Eden is on. Dead Pal Fitty is on. Let me see here. Arcadia Angel is on. Linesmanson is on. Let me see here. Miguel and DeMarco, something like that, is on. Love you guys. Glad you're on. All right, let me see here. Captain Cliff is on. Smoke Poles, may not be good. 97 is on. Let me see here. You guys trying to get me to say bad things? Kansas Law Dog is on. I'm going to watch it for now. I think you just got me. All right, let me see here. DC 941 is on. The one and only Release the Hog is on. Les Cruz Brown is on. Kansas Law Dog is on. Stephen Toms is on. Scrolling down. Let me see here. Milwaukee James is on. Snag Dog is on. If I say it twice, it's all right. Let me see here. Aphrodite's is on. Let me grab a couple more here. Let me see. Scrolling down to the bottom. Trying to get to the bottom here. Let me see here. Scrolling down. Lisa Kinzer is on. Let me grab one more I haven't seen yet. Let me see here. David Graves is on. Love you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. I see Blade Runner's on. Appreciate you. Keeper 1376 is on. Appreciate you guys. All right, let's get to Tennessee here. Had a little outbreak today in Tennessee. Nick Sordor video. This, of course, has to do with redistricting of congressional maps. Tennessee now has gone from 9-1 to 10-0. Yes. This is what you got to do. Again, if you are following or you are supporting a fairness Republican, stop following them now. If it's a Mike Pence, it may be people even that we like right now that may turn out to be fairness Republicans, it's already been rigged against us. Now we have to rig it back in favor of us. It's not that we are rigging it against the Democrats. They've already rigged it against us. So now we have to rig it back. So anyway, it's official. Tennessee's new maps have passed. The state Senate are now on their way to be signed. I believe they've already have been into law by Governor Bill Lee. Leftist activists stormed the Senate chamber and started screaming, but senators ignored them and passed the map. And this is the whole thing too. The whole narrative is that the alleged white-wing supremacist terrorists are the nationalists, the white nationalists, or whoever you want to name, are the existential threat to America. You know, the right-wing, white supremacist terrorists. Okay, find me any videos. Find me any videos of the right, black, white, Asian, or otherwise, acting in this manner. Play it for me. And there you have sorry, Aaron. If you can, see if you can side by side that thing for me.
Yeah.
Just in the frozen, as you had it right there at the end, right there. If you they are again. The Democrats all dressed in white because they love to play like they're pure. As they abort the unborn, they love to pretend that they are pure people as they support forced vaccinations, gun grabbing, experimentation and mutilation of children. And of course, one more time, the murder of about 2 million Americans per year. And then they dress themselves in white. That's what they always do. And they're screaming. They're non-civil. Republicans never do this. Listen, you know my stance on, I'm a Republican, lifelong Republican, never been anything else but a Republican. But Republicans, not us, not 325 people that are watching, we're not. We are the remnant of Republicans who have courage. There's a few of us out there. There's a few of them on Capitol Hill, not many. But overall, the Republicans are cowards and the Democrats are demons, and both go to hell. Revelation 21:8. So anyway, because the cowardly will not inherit the kingdom of heaven because they will never stand up. So Republicans are like that, but Republicans never act like this. We're not the threat. You will not find a single video of a Republican ever acting like this. But this is what the Democrats do. Benny Johnson video. What is happening in this video from the Tennessee State Capitol is empirically worse than anything that happened on January 6th. Play it for me, Will. So you're hearing Democrats talk about their safety. You think any of the Republicans felt safe in that building? And we all noticed that somebody set off another fire alarm, Jamal Bowman style. So you have that going on, the screaming, and you go walking through. Aaron, you can play it. Walking through. You think any of these people actually felt safe as they're walking through here? Look at this. I mean, you want to talk about an insurrection. You have an insurrection by the congressmen and women, the leftist congressmen. All of this is to block. Get this now. They are calling racist that which is, what they're saying is that the people who are trying to stop racism are racist. It's just like right now in Christianity. If you speak out against people claiming Christianity that are not Christians, people will say that you're not acting Christ-like. If you actually come out and you actually preach Christianity to people who aren't Christians, who are claiming to be Christians that aren't, you aren't acting Christ-like. If you tell somebody that their current walk with God that doesn't exist is going to land them in hell, you're not acting in a Christ-like fashion. If you go up to somebody who's splitting between, like one of the Jonas brothers right now, he calls himself a Christian, but he's raising his kids as Hindus. If you actually say to him that you are raising your kids going straight to hell, many of the pastors, and maybe some of you are watching right now, you would consider that to not be Christ-like, to actually tell somebody the truth. And now the same thing is going on here, where what these Republicans are doing are pulling down racism. You have a congressional, there's only one. It's like it's Memphis. It's in Memphis. Now Memphis has been split up. And by the way, anybody been to Memphis? Will, you been to Memphis? Aaron been to Memphis?
I think so, yeah.
Dump. I mean, a complete, felonious, riddled, hellhole dump. Ever been there? In Memphis, that's where Elvis is, Graceland.
Yeah.
That's where Graceland is, Memphis. Dirty. Dump. Absolute freaking dump. And now that always gets Democrats elected because that was a racially gerrymandered district. Now you're not allowed to do that via SCOTUS ruling, which, by the way, the SCOTUS ruling came out on this 7 months ago and has been held in place by Ketanji Brown Jackson. And she got publicly excoriated by Samuel Alito. But anyway, so now this racially gerrymandered congressional district map has now been eliminated. I thought we were all against racism. When you're going to, because how would the black people feel if there was an exclusively white district? Or an exclusively Hispanic district, an exclusively evangelical district, an exclusively Catholic district, an exclusively Islamic district, an exclusively Arab district? How would they like that? They'd all be crying racism. But when it's racism actually directed to them, they approve it. So anyway, that's what they're all talking about, that idiot right there with his cut. I mean, you can't do better than that, Congressman, with your long, ridiculous 1970s ponytail. You can't do anything better than a paper cutout of a Confederate flag. You had all day to do nothing, and that's what you came up with. I mean, there's just absolute trash. Speaking of ghetto trash, let's go to Justin Pearson. Nick Sortor video. Democrat from Tennessee State Rep Justin Pearson, which, by the way, we're trying to think, he went to Bodwin School, which is an exclusive, very white, very affluent. He himself is affluent, but now he grows the giant fro and is now claiming racism when he has grown up in a completely white oligarchical system. Unbelievable, these people. I mean, again, you just have absolutely no integrity. You are a sulfur-smelling demon. You have no integrity whatsoever. You're going to come out and act like an oppressed black man who went to Bodwin? Please. So anyway, Justin Pearson just went on a ghetto tirade on state troopers. He needs to be criminally prosecuted for this. After the House passed the new congressional map, he says, "Move the F back, boy," to the trooper. The F is wrong with you, you stupid mother effer. Play it for me.
I'll walk him out. Y'all going? Let go. Now you got me all tied up. Now you got me all tied up. My brother ain't doing nothing to nobody. Hey, doing nothing to nobody. You don't walk out like yourself. Move your back. Boy! Yeah, let Rep Pearson go. Let Rep Pearson. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You stupid mother.
There you go. Now, again, thanks for the countdown, Will. But anyway, again, with that, I want to see, Aaron, if you could replay that, just mute it and replay it. I want to see if he pushes him. Because if he does, it looks like he pushes him. So if he does, this is a felony. He needs to be charged for it. Absolutely criminally charged. I don't care whether we win in court or not. He needs to be criminally charged. And you look at the absolutely reprehensible. There it is. That's a push. Okay, he pushed that cop. He needs to be criminally charged for what he's done. And it doesn't matter what the repercussions are. Again, if you are supporting a Republican that even considers what the repercussions are, I'm going to be called racist. They already call you racist. Look at this attitude. This guy was raised in bourgeois whiteism, and now he's going to claim the mantle of the oppressed black. Listen, the black community has huge problems. Okay, the white community is catching up, but the black community has huge problems with crime and fatherlessness, attitude, and black on white crime. The reason why this guy feels like, the reason why Justin Pearson does this is because he knows he can get away with it. He needs to be criminally charged with felonious battery on a law enforcement officer. It's on tape. It needs to happen. And if it doesn't, these members of the House, by the way, the cops need to do it. Those are Tennessee state troopers. Why was he not arrested then? You know why he wasn't arrested? Can you guess why he wasn't arrested? Because he can get away with crime because he's a black male with an attitude. He needed to be tackled to the freaking ground and taken to jail right there. It's on tape. Sitting there like this, again, listen, I have problems with law enforcement now too. And I saw it happening at the tail end of my law enforcement career. I retired in 2017. I saw it then where people that I worked with and a lot of times just on videotapes, they're telling people 500 times, sir, get on the ground. Sir, get on the ground. Sir, get on the ground. No, you don't need to tell people 500 times. I always gave people 3 chances. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. And I had him in my mind. That's 2. Put your hands behind your back. Doesn't do it. Boom. That guy, right? Look at that dude. Look at that. To jail.
Yeah.
Not for the attitude, for the battery. It's clear as day. And he should have been tackled right there, but all the cops are afraid of the political repercussions of arresting a black state congressman who's really a white guy pretending to be black. He was raised, certainly didn't hate white people, and he's being raised at Bodwin. Didn't hate white people then. Go to the next one for me. Let me show you this pic. So this is one of the, go to the next one for me.
That's the next one.
Oh, man. Okay. I was supposed to have a pic of a black female standing on a podium. I guess I didn't tell you guys. Aaron, just see if you can find it while I'm talking here and just throw it on when you get it. Let me see here. Where am I at? Okay. Gunther Eagleman video. The libs are out having oh, there it is. Throw it up, Aaron. Thanks. There, I just want to show you that. That happened on the congressional floor. The black community has a problem. It doesn't make me racist to say it. I don't care if they call me racist. Okay? The bottom line is when you feel like you can do this, you have a problem. You do not understand societal norms. You don't understand social etiquette. And by the way, who told you to wear that snuggie dress?
Ugh.
Who told you to wear that? You look 10 months pregnant, sticking out of both sides. Who told you to wear it? You're flat on top, huge in the middle, and huge in the back. Who told you to wear it? Who lets you walk out of the house? And then you have so little social etiquette. First of all, how does she ever get up there in that dress? And what was exposed on her way up?
Oh, dear.
Ugh.
Ugh.
And then you feel like this is something that you can do. Show me a Republican doing it. Please. Show me. Show me a Republican doing it, please. I'd love to see it. Black, white, Asian, whatever. Show me any Republican doing this, behaving in this fashion. And it's just like on the pregame, where Jesse Waters was dismantling Jessica Tarloff, and he said, you have no morals. They don't. You have no morals. You have no ethics. You have no social etiquette. You're standing on the podium, or whatever you call those things, desks, podiums, whatever they are. You're standing on the podium in the middle of a congressional hearing. That's who these people are. That's who the left is in 2026. It's absolutely disgusting. Let's go to the next one. All right, back to Gunther Eagleman. The libs are having a struggle session now that the Tennessee House passed new congressional maps. Here's the burning of the paper cutout of the Confederate flag. Play for me.
We're seeing protests in the Tennessee Capitol, where the House just advanced a new congressional map that would carve up Tennessee's only Democratic and black majority district, which includes Memphis. The measure is now in the Senate. Tennessee is the latest state to jump into the redistricting battle following that sweeping Supreme Court decision that weakened the landmark Voting Rights Act. Now, some Democrats are warning this gerrymandering sprint challenges the very idea of democracy.
I try not to see this as a left-right issue. I think this strikes to the core of what Americans believe in, and I have faith that Americans believe ultimately in the idea of fair elections, fair representation, that this democracy should be a democracy that is loyal to those vaunted ideals. What the Republicans are doing is anti-democratic, and I'll never forget that.
All right, so let's just focus on Spartacus there at the end. Cory Booker saying that Americans are focused. He still believes that Americans are focused on free and fair elections and free and fair representation. We'll get back to Cory in a minute. Here's the battle right here. This is what's happening. And most of these states, remember how we were warned. I know I went off on this last night, but we were warned by Dollar Store Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, or Dime Store, I like to call him Obama, for dime bag. But anyway, Hakeem Jeffries saying F around and find out. Well, we are. I'm going to change the fooling around. We're fooling around and finding out because you have California and Virginia. Those are Democrat states. Virginia's going to get defeated in the Virginia SCOTUS. California's already passed. We lost those 5 seats. But the rest of them there, Utah, Texas, Missouri, Ohio, North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, Alabama, and Florida, you can see it. Blue are underway. Green's already done. We're winning. So we fooled around and we found out, didn't we? So anyway, you have Spartacus saying, I still believe in free and fair elections. He believes that Americans still believe in free and fair elections. So I checked on something. I checked to see where New Jersey's at. So I went to Grok because he's a senator one of the 2 senators out of New Jersey, and he's talking about fair elections and fair representation. Now remember, I know I say this every night, but this is part of the theology of this all. I'm glad you left that map up there. And if you look at the entire right-hand corner of the United States of America, including all of New York and all the states leading down to Virginia, including Washington, D.C., all of them are gerrymandered out the rectum.
Yeah.
All of them are gerrymandered. All of New England, you and I comprise 45% of the population. Right-wingers, Republicans and right-wingers and conservatives, we make up 40 to 45% of the population in those states. And we have zero representation. I'm talking about all of New England. Zero representation. And he's going to talk about fair elections and fair representation. Is that fair representation? Say there's 30 seats there. We should have 10 of them. We have 0. Say there's 40 seats. We should have about 15 of them. We have 0. And he's going to talk to me about fair elections and fair representation. So I went to Grok to find out if New Jersey, Spartacus's own state, Mr. Contrived Speech, Mr. Phony, Mr. Fake, I wanted to see if his own state is gerrymandered against Republicans. So I asked Grok, is New Jersey gerrymandered against Republicans? Answer from Grok, yes. New Jersey's congressional map is gerrymandered or at least biased in favor of Democrats. New Jersey has 12 congressional seats. Democrats consistently win 9 seats to Republicans 3, as in 2022-2024 elections, even though the state's, get this now, overall partisan lean is 52 to 57 Democrat. So let's just use the 52. So it's 52-48 Democrat, and we get 3 seats out of 12.
Right.
That's gerrymandering from Mr. Fair Election and Fair Representation. You're like, well, Tom, what makes up somebody like Spartacus? What makes up somebody like Cory Booker? Spineless, coward, agenda-driven, demonic, liar, soulless, consciencelessness. He has nothing. He will whore himself out to any idealism that will personally profit him and give him fame. That's all that matters to Cory Booker. All right, let's go on. Next one, let's go to kosher pick, right? All right, I got to hit this real quick. I got to break this out. And just kind of, because I actually just threw it in the middle of the podcast, right in the middle of the electoral map. Then we're going to get back to electoral map stuff. But anyway, just have to show this one to you. Here's the thing. Now, I've been talking about this, the only UFO thing I've got tonight, so don't worry, I'm not going to go too long on it. But, we put this out. Remember, we had this big pastor summit of 5 or 6 pastors in an Airbnb in Tennessee. I'm guessing Gatlinburg. That's where all the Christians go, including me. Been there. But anyway, I love Gatlinburg. But anyway... So so you had this meeting, and I illustrate who they were last night, and they allegedly these pastors brought in because of their giant influence, and hardly any of them have much influence at all. They're on my level. They're somewhere between my level and up to double my level, except for Perry Stone in the picture here, who has about, 10 times my level, and that's probably 9 times my level, 8 times my level, something like that. So he's the only one. So these influential, now if you're going to have influential pastors meeting here, why didn't you call like Greg Groeschel? Is that the name? Largest
Craig,
church in
yeah,
America.
Craig Groeschel.
Craig Groeschel.
Yeah.
A muscular dude.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, hate his preaching. Just limp-wristed, lukewarm preaching. Furtick, the same way. But they have monstrous churches, huge churches. Why wouldn't you call Joel Osteen?
Right.
Well, this is a huge church. Why wouldn't you call the Pope? Why wouldn't you call the head of the Lutherans, the head of the Episcopalians, or whatever it is? Why wouldn't you call? Now, you might be thinking, well, somebody's trying to defend the evangelical church. Well, Furtick would be considered to be evangelical. Why wouldn't you call Andrew Womack? Why wouldn't you call Jesse Duplantis or Rodney Howard-Browne? Rodney Howard-Browne immediately came out against all this crap. So anyway, who's my pastor? But anyway, so now you have all this. So these pastors were told to prepare because there's going to be a psyop that's going to be released that's going to make Christians question whether or not God is God or aliens are actually God, and they gave us the gospel as aliens. Now, the problem is a lot of these guys already believe in UFOs and already believe in reptilian alien creatures and vehicles that have been made from alien materials. A lot of these pastors already believe in that stuff. So how are they going to defend Christianity when they already believe the basis of the story? But then they will say that what we're going to do is they're going to use what we know to be true, UFOs, to disprove God. And we're going to defend that, although you believe in the UFOs. Just for the record, I don't believe in UFOs. I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe there's life on other planets. There you go. Life, I'm telling you, there may be like fungi, but other than that, nothing. There isn't any. Okay, again, 57 years on Earth. Will's got 45. Aaron's got 32. Out of all of our years, we all lived in different places most of our lives. Ain't one of us seen an alien craft or an alien. Now, I do believe that there are unidentified flying objects that are drones, and there are technologies that we're not aware of, like hypersonic technologies, which we're way behind in, by the way. But anyway, so we had this kosher put out. Pastors told to prepare. Per Pastor Barry Stone, a large number of pastors were invited to a meeting with individuals from the U.S. government. U.S. government? Well, the U.S. government telling them to prepare for USO disclosures in the disclosure community. Only problem is the person who's running point on all that is Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, who is in the innermost intel of all of this. And she writes, really? Have not heard of this, and we're not running point on it. Whoops. So it's already over. I mean, there's nothing on the internet today. I saw one of the pastors held like his little summit last night, and he was playing it. Nobody's watching. And not live. I don't know what happened live, but today I saw that it was on, and he did not have very many views. So it didn't pop the way, if they had nefarious motives, it did not pop the way they wanted it to pop. All right, let's go to the next one. Back to electoral maps now. Just want to get that in. If you're mad about this, but not mad about this, you're a hypocrite. There it is. So we're trying to turn our states the exact same color as their states. We're trying to turn ours all red as they've turned theirs all blue. Imagine being Cory Booker. And there you have it right there. Maine, 36% Republican. Connecticut, 42. Massachusetts, 36. Maine, 46. New Mexico, 46. New Hampshire, 48. Rhode Island, 42. Vermont, 32. Hawaii, 38. Delaware, 42. And how many seats do we have? 0. So that map doesn't even cover it all because you have Hawaii on that one. You have Hawaii that's not shown on that, and New Mexico that's not shown on that. And they just found out in New Mexico that they only would have counted if they would have only counted United States citizens voting in the 2024 election, Trump wins New Mexico too. That's just been proven, by the way, without a doubt. All right, so let's go to the next one. I have to show you these pics because this just shows you. Get this now. I mean, it's really funny. Massachusetts versus Tennessee. So Massachusetts is actually more Republican than Tennessee is Democrat. And they're crying about them losing that little district in Tennessee. But we actually have a larger representation of Republicans in a state where we have no representation. At least for years and years and years, in a state where Democrats only comprise 34.5% of the population. They got a seat. Where we represent 36% of the population, we've got nothing for decades. And they're complaining about it. Just imagine what it means to be Cory Booker and actually coming out and saying, I believe that most Americans believe in fair elections and fair representation. When his own state is gerrymandered against Republicans. Where you have 50% of the state of New Jersey, where Cory Booker comes from, 50% of the state is Republican, and we have 3 seats. In a state with 12 million people in it. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so change the subject. Let's go to Iran. Bannon's War Room video. Bowling, it's got to be conspiracy. It has to be great. Eric Bowling speaking. It's got to be RICO. Eric Bowling and Steve Bannon break down the suspicious. Get this, Aaron. Aaron's going to love this segment. They're going to love this segment.
Right.
A suspicious $40 billion oil trading pattern tied to Trump announcements about what he's going to do in Iran. In other words, when he says we're going to bomb the crap out of Iran today, suddenly oil prices go down and people are buying on the short. When he says that the war is over, right? And by the way, these are happening right before the announcements. Mm-hmm. So when he says that we're about to end the war, right before he makes that announcement, a bunch of people buy oil stocks. And they've only made $40 billion.
Oh.
So it's not a big deal.
It's not that much.
It's $40 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's not a big deal.
Chump change.
Chump change. I mean, it's not $40 billion. But anyway, so right when Trump says the war is about to end, suspiciously, right before he makes the announcement, there's a surge in buying oil stocks. And right when he's about to say, we're going to bomb the living crap out of Iran, or we're going to continue the stranglehold on the strait, suddenly people are either buying on the short or selling right before the announcement. Play it for me.
There's another story. $40 billion was made in the last 60 days trading oil by speculators, and they happen to be timing these moves around right before Trump's announcements, either bullish or bearish, and they're nailing it, Steve. No one is that good.
Hang on, slow down, because this one's radioactive. This is a Wall Street Journal analysis, correct?
Yes.
And I keep asking you.
Wall Street Journal and CNBC got together and said, what are these trades? Because a lot of money was being made, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars early on. All of a sudden became billions of dollars. And what's happening is someone or some group, it can't be one person. It's got to be conspiracy, Steve. It has to be. It's got to be RICO, who are trading in front of the president's announcements. Don't know who it is. Everyone wants to say, oh, that's Barron Trump. Yuck, yuck, yuck. It's more likely someone involved in the situation room, or someone has the idea of.
That's a big charge. They don't.
If there's someone who's getting this information, Trump's going to say this at 4:00 today, right? Beforehand, they're putting massive bullish bets on oil to go up when he says we're going to blow Iran off the face of the earth. They'll ride it, Steve, until they find out Trump's going to say, you know what, we're going to pull out. Iranians have come to a deal, or they're asking us for a deal, and they've sold in front of that announcement. So while it's high before that announcement happens, they're out. And then it crashes. Sometimes they're flipping it from long to short, playing both sides of that trade, right? So they'll go long on the way up and short. No one's that good.
No, I talk to you all the time about, do we see dead people here? Here's the thing, though. I would posit that, at least as one observes this, a lot of what...
But have no fear. It's all been referred to Kash Patel.
Yes.
So don't worry. The FBI, the DOJ is on it. Right. So I'm sure they're going to get to the bottom of this, because if this is going on, by the way, this isn't just a Bannon story. This is all over This is all over Twitter. It has actually been referred to the DOJ. There's only one way this could be happening, and that's somebody on the inside of Trump's circle who is telling investors Trump is about to make this announcement. Trump is about to make that announcement. That's the only way. And by the way, I didn't say that. I believe that, but Bowling said it, and even Bannon acknowledged it. So somebody is on the inside making money off of what they know Trump is going to announce, sending it out to people who are buying and selling these commodities, which is oil. So there you go. I mean, that's, again, you think that, maybe not those of you that are watching, but a lot of people say you're too harsh or whatever, Tom. Everything's a lie.
Yeah.
Everything's a lie. You think, you honestly believe that World War II was about what you think it was? Do you really? Do you really believe World War I was all about what they tell you it was about? It wasn't about the international banking system. It wasn't about that, right? I mean, Jekyll Island, then lo and behold, we're in the war 4 years later, right after Jekyll Island, right after we formed the CIA, income tax, the FBI, and the central banking system, both run by Jewish brothers on both sides. Come on. Again, and it's not about being anti-Jew. It's acknowledging when Israelis are doing acknowledging what Israelis are doing, like you would acknowledge what the CCP is doing, like you would acknowledge what Canada is doing, right? Exactly. I'm not somebody who's like find a Jew under every conspiracy. I'm not like that. But when they are, you call it out. Just like I said earlier, there's a problem in the black community when they're acting like that. There's a problem. I don't care what it means. Will that cause people to not come to my church? Fine. So I'm going to lie then to get you to go to my church. I'm going to lie to save you. I'm going to lie to get you into hell because that's what it would be. Let's look at the left for a couple minutes here. Eric Doherty video. Just in, Soros-backed Virginia district attorney is facing federal civil rights investigation for giving sweetheart deals to violent, dangerous illegals, even better deals than he gives to citizens. This guy is responsible for death and violence in Virginia. This story's unreal. Play it for me.
An affluent Fairfax County of Virginia is back in the spotlight, not for good reasons, of course. The Department of Justice has opened a civil rights investigation there into the county's Soros-backed prosecutor, Steve Descano. The department says it believes he's giving sweetheart deals to illegal immigrants, better deals than he's giving American citizens. One recipient, the illegal immigrant charged with killing 41-year-old Stephanie Minter in February, she was stabbed to death while waiting at a bus stop. Descano previously dropped a host of charges against the suspect, including malicious wounding and assault. He's just one of 7 illegal immigrants who have been linked to 13 killings in Fairfax County in recent years. Mark Meredith reports. Mark.
Harris, good morning to you. Good to see you. Stephanie Minter's murder outraged lawmakers here in Washington, as well as the Department of Justice. As you mentioned, it's now launching a formal investigation into Fairfax County prosecutors. As you mentioned, back in February, 41-year-old Stephanie Minter, she was stabbed to death at a bus stop in Fairfax, allegedly by a legal immigrant from Sierra Leone. He had a lengthy rap sheet. Her mom has been urging prosecutors face consequences, considering the suspect had been in the U.S. illegally for over a decade. The federal probe focuses on the chief prosecutor in Fairfax, Steve Descano. He's accused of going easier on criminals if they're in the U.S. illegally. Or as the DOJ puts it, this investigation will uncover whether this prosecutor is putting the community at risk in offering sweetheart deals to illegal immigrants charged with serious crimes. Now, Descano is denying any wrongdoing, calling his policies fair and legal. He's called Fairfax the safest large jurisdiction in the country. He also addressed similar complaints back in April.
Our office is all about keeping our community safe and doing justice. It doesn't matter what somebody's status is. If somebody commits a crime in Fairfax County, we're going to hold that person accountable.
Republicans are also increasingly angry with Virginia's new Democratic Governor, Abigail Spanberger. You may remember in her first week in office, she signed an executive order limiting state cooperation with federal immigration officers. Now, a hearing focused on Virginia's sanctuary policies is going to happen next week. Lawmakers say they want to hold prosecutors accountable. They're also looking at policies coming out of places like Philadelphia. Harris.
Mark, thank you very much.
So the Steve Descano there, the Virginia District Attorney, is giving sweetheart deals to criminals who enter the country in criminal fashion. I mean, normally you give sweetheart deals to people who are first-time offenders. You give sweetheart deals to nonviolent offenders. No, he gives sweetheart deals to the people who murdered, stabbed to death a woman who's committing the heinous act of standing and waiting for a bus. He just lets them out. I mean, this again, I don't mean to harken back to the same video over and over again, but I probably should have cut it up and used it during the show. But back where Jesse Waters just dismantling Jessica Tarloff in the pregame, this is what he's talking about. Where you are moralless, spineless, cowardice, soulless, conscienceless hacks. You're letting out people like this. I mean, just look at this. Masali Lopez Gomez, some type of murder. I can't tell what kind of murder that is, but anyway.
Infant murder.
Infant murder. Annabelle, guy named Annabelle, Armando, whatever, Chavara, whatever, fatal stabbing. Abdul, I know you wouldn't. Don't you want Abdul out? I mean, no, Aaron, you would. Like if it was your wife and your daughter, and they're out walking around in the city, you would love for Abdul to be out, wouldn't you?
100%.
And he repeat offender, fatal stabbing. Marvin Ortez, fatal stabbing. Malden Guzman, mob murder. Elmer Condre, MS-13 executions.
Yeah.
Jose Palacios, triple murder, suicide. So killed 2 people and killed himself. These are the people that Democrats want to let loose on us. If they can't abort you in the womb, they'll abort you outside of the womb. That's how nasty and disgusting these people are. They are repulsive, repugnant, demonic human beings. That's who they are. That's who we're fighting against. That's why you redistrict. I want to play fair. Shove it up your own rectum and move to a blue state, okay? I'm tired of it. I want people like Ron DeSantis. I want people, I'm behind James Fishback in Florida. I want James Fishback. Those are the people that I want. The people that aren't worried about offending. James Fishback may get elected governor and only serve 1 term because he offends people. I don't know. But anyway, those are the people. People are unafraid. I'm tired of all the scaredy cats. I'm tired of all the people counting the cost. I'm tired of all the people that are scared of being called names. What needs to be said needs to actually be said. It's as simple as that. Got to show you this one. This video is more funny than anything else, but it's still a reflection of the Democratic Party in 2026. Meets Rosie Speedland Gonzalez, the first queer whatever judge in the specific region of our country. Play it for me.
In 2018, Judge Rosie Speedland Gonzalez became the first openly gay judge to be elected in Bexar County.
Heck yes. There's nothing more important to me than a homosexual server of justice.
Within months of taking the bench, a complaint was made by a local defense attorney to the State Commission on Judicial Conduct about the rainbow pride flag she had in her courtroom.
What? Are you kidding me? This is an outrage.
It came across very much like I was being targeted and discriminated against.
And it wasn't just the rainbow pride flag that she was forced to remove.
I was also ordered to remove all rainbows from the courtroom. My mouse pad, the pen that I used.
They made her get rid of her gay mouse pad? Oh, this is war. 4 years later.
We finally got their opinion last week, and they vacated any sanctions against me and dismissed the grievance that was originally filed.
It was a meaningful victory not only for her, but the entire LGBTQ community. What is most important, she says, going forward is providing equal justice for all.
Woohoo! Equality! The future is bright now that my favorite lesbian judge has her rainbows back.
Judge Rosie Speedland Gonzalez turned herself in this afternoon on both felony and misdemeanor charges.
What?
News 4's cameras caught the moment Speedland Gonzalez walked into a courtroom to be indicted. That indictment alleges the judge illegally detained a woman while acting in her official role.
A defendant accused of violating probation admitted he failed to check in with his probation officer. His attorney, Elizabeth Russell, then asked to correct the record. As Russell objected to how the record was being described, Judge Speedland Gonzalez warned the discussion was over, saying, quote, "Your argumentative ways are not going to work today." Moments later, the transcript shows Judge Speedland Gonzalez directing the bailiff to detain the attorney, saying, "Put her in the box." Just 8 minutes into the hearing, Russell was placed in handcuffs. The transcript shows she repeatedly asked for a contempt hearing and for a judicial supervisor to be contacted. The judge responded, "I can hold you in contempt, Miss Russell. Are you going to behave professionally or aren't you?"
The judge berated the attorney while she sat restrained in a jury box. Russell, who declined comment today, filed a criminal complaint.
Before all of this went down, some former staff spoke out that Speedy Gonzalez was becoming a bit of a tyrant.
The behavior she gave was aggressive when it did not need to be. Became very like, no, this is what I'm saying. I'm the judge. I'm going to do this, whether you all like it or not. It just was not appropriate.
She says the judge, who she's known for more than a decade and considered a personal friend, had a noticeable shift in behavior and began lashing out at defendants in court. One female defendant.
She had a pregnancy scare. She, thought it led to a miscarriage, so the judge went ahead and told her to invest in batteries and get basically a vibrator, less trouble. And that is what blew my mind the first time. Or
an 18-year-old berated by the judge after his case manager found a video with sexual content on his cell phone.
Calling him a poser. And, this young man is homeless. He lives in a group setting. He was triggered. He was shaking. It was ugly.
Perhaps the power went to her head and she became a monster, but can you blame her? They took away the gay flag.
So there you go. So, you look at it again, this is the first outwardly gay, out of the closet judge in Bexar County, Texas, who we honestly believe is Steven Tyler. We're gonna do a deep dive investigation because we think this is actually Steven Tyler, lead singer of Aerosmith. That's what we think. Or Tonto. It's one of the two.
Yeah,
or one of the characters in Last of the Mohicans. One of those. She's one of those.
She's fluid.
She's one of the. She's fluid
between them.
She's racially fluid.
Yeah, two spirits.
Yeah, two spirits. She's a two spirit. 2S. Yeah. You see, this is the thing. You end up with these perverts. She acted in a perverted way. She's sitting there attacking a guy who has porn on his phone. All right, now you're going to go to hell if you're watching porn. I've watched lots of porn. I get it. I've turned from my sin. I'm just saying they obviously, but who isn't a sexual sinner? I'm not talking about unrepentant sinner. I'm saying who amongst us is not sexually sinned in some form or fashion, whether it's actual or watching porn or whatever. And she's going to berate this person, but then she tells a woman who had a pregnancy scare, because the reason she hated the guy watching porn because he's hetero, but the woman who has the pregnancy scare who's also hetero, she tells her to basically get rid of the penises in your life and go get a vibrator from the bench, because you put a pervert on the bench, you get perversion. It's as simple as that. So again, right here, Steven Tyler, Democratic Party, 2026. All right, let's go to the next one. Libs of TikTok video. I think we're Libs of TikTok video, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Oh, this is one of the great stories of the day. So here you have, Aaron, if you could side by side, you got Mark Hamill. Oh. And this breaks Will's heart as a Star Wars guy. And by the way, just let Will know, I just finished watching the two original Star Wars, whatever, it's Something Hope, and then The Empire Strikes Back. So I watched the two originals. I hadn't watched them in years, and I just watched them both really back to back. So I loved them. Okay, I went to Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back in the theaters. Oh. Yeah. I went to Star Wars 17 times in the theater. So anyway, but here Mark Hamill has decided to be an idiot at some time in his life. He transitioned into being an idiot. So here he is, Libs TikTok video, Shai Raychek, disgusting. Barack Obama promoted his hideous presidential library with Mark Hamill. Play it for me.
Happy Star Wars Day from the Obama Presidential Center.
I have a very good feeling about this.
Mark, I am glad you are here. I want to tell you about someone.
Okay.
A young person born into ordinary circumstances, but restless, unsatisfied.
Mm-hmm.
A kid with big dreams, a bit of a rebel.
I like where this is going.
They join a scrappy group of underdogs and set out to change things.
By blowing up a giant space laser?
Mark, this is not about you. As wonderful as you are.
I can't watch anymore. So there we go.
So
and Aaron brought up a very valid point here. Who is it that approves this Democratic Party messaging? Their messaging sucks. This is, again, why we're only losing elections because of corrupt elections and gerrymandering. That's why we lose, just so you know. Because we certainly aren't losing to their media teams. You've seen we've played a lot of their stuff. Somebody actually thought that was cool, and that would reach like Aaron's age bracket, but they would think it would reach my age bracket because I'm a Star Wars guy. All right, and I think they could reach Will, who would love to have. Do you have a life-size stormtrooper or not?
I had to give it away. My son was scared of it.
Oh man, you got to tell him to suck it up, dude. Yeah, you should just go ahead and get like Boba Fett in there or something. But anyway, so he had a life-size stormtrooper guy. But anyway, to his credit, or discredit, whatever you want to.
Right.
But anyway,
it depends.
But you actually think you're going to reach people with that? I mean, it's amazing. So then Mark Hamill, after doing this appearance with Hussein Obama, puts out this tweet. Put it up there for me. There you go. If only, Mark Hamill puts this. That's what he put out. He put this out. And Jessica Tarloff on the 5 is going to say that the Republicans have a morality problem. You're going to hear Spartacus and Pelosi and Schumer and Jasmine Crockett, who's redistricted out of her seat, going to talk about how the Republicans are the threats. Show me one Republican post like this. Show it to me. Show me a Republican post like this, ever. Show it. You won't find them anywhere. He should, if only he should live long enough to witness his inevitable, devastating loss in the midterms. Oh, really, Marky? You've been watching the redistricting battle. You're about to get your little hopes crushed. Be held accountable for his unprecedented corruption, impeached, convicted, and humiliated for his countless crimes long enough to realize he'll be disgraced in the history books forevermore. So I would love Mark to just list his crimes, because we've shown countless videos. You actually go up to a Democrat and you say, they're carrying signs, impeach him for his crimes, convict him for his crimes, prosecute him for his crimes, and you go up there and ask him, name me one of his crimes. Matter of fact, name me 3 crimes. If he's such a criminal, name me 3 of his crimes that he's done. They may mention sometimes the 34 felony convictions out of New York, the totally bogus case of a state actually prosecuting federal crimes that weren't federal crimes, that aren't crimes at all. But anyway, don't have time to get into that. But they may say something like that, but can't explain the case to you and what he actually did wrong. He paid off a porn star. He did an NDA with a porn star. That's not a crime, moron. Have you actually looked at the $17 million that's been spent on congressmen and women covering up their sexual harassment and their sexual abuse cases in Congress? Those are all under NDAs. And Republicans and Democrats both refuse to release the information about the $17 million slush fund that was spent on sexual indiscretions of members of Congress. But this is the threat. This is why I said from the pulpit, there needs to be a national reckoning about who the Democratic Party is, because they are now a terrorist organization, exemplified in Mark Hamill's post. All right, go to the next one for me. Paul Sperry tweet, breaking FBI Director Kash Patel, Aaron, there you go, says there is enough evidence for the DOJ to bring a strong case against top Russiagate conspirators, including James Comey and John Brennan. Now, if Trump is behind this, it'll happen. If he's not, it won't. And that the process, this is, I think this is part of the reason why they're bringing in James Comey right now, is to leverage him, try to get him to, by the way, there's this, I don't have the time to go into the collusion hoax, Perkins Coie, Fusion GPS, Christopher Steele, Igor Danchenko. I don't have time to get into all of that. There's so many, it's all in my head right now. I don't want to talk about it, but I'm not going to do it. But anyway, so, the Orrs, Nellie and Bruce Orr, it's just all coming to my head right now. John McCain's part in it. It's unreal. It's all giant lies. Trump never did anything. But anyway, in that process of finding and presenting supporting documents and swearing in cooperating witnesses before federal grand juries is well underway, which is actually true, by the way. That is true. Do I trust Kash Patel to get the job done? If Trump is behind it, because he's going to want to stay FBI director, both for Trump and for Vance, if Vance becomes the next president or Rubio becomes the next president, he will want to do it. And I can almost guarantee you, because I know Trump hates Comey and hates Brennan, because they both tried to send him up the river for the rest of his life. Remember, Comey's out there talking about, well, yeah, you can keep a president in prison. You just put him out there in a double wide with the Secret Service for the rest of his life. That's how he talked. So you know that Trump is behind this. So hopefully there is, again, using the word, a reckoning for these corruptocrats like John Brennan. The 51 former Intel chief said that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. All of these people, hopefully, but here we are, a year and what is today? May 6th, I think? May 7th yep. Now. May 7th, we're a year and let's see, I'll just say March, April, May, year and 3-4 months in. Not much has happened. Not much has happened. So we will see. Maybe that's why they got rid of Pam Bondi. I hope so. Because Brennan needs to spend the rest of his life in federal prison for what he did on 9/11 alone. And James Comey for what he did in the collusion hoax, the FISA warrant. He lied on a FISA warrant. He needs to spend the rest of his life in federal prison. All right, let's go this way. Let's go to Thomas Massie. So Thomas Massie right now in an election, a primary election. Usually you'll hear all these numbers, so I won't jump out of myself. You hear this Tucker interview with Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie usually wins his primary elections and maybe even his general elections. I'm not sure which numbers they're talking about here, but he wins them somewhere along the lines of 80-20. But now he's up by 1 point over a guy named Eddie Gillane. So let's break this down tonight. Charging video. Thomas Massie says the Israel lobby spent $10 million against him in his re-election race for Kentucky's 4th congressional district seat. The Republican Jewish Coalition, AIPAC, Miriam Adelson, and Paul Singer and John Paulson funded a PAC called MAGA Kentucky. And Thomas Massie doesn't have that money. And Thomas Massie's Liberty score is 96%. All right. And you're going to have to see who this person is that they're actually putting into office, named Eddie Gillane, by the way. But we'll get to that. Here's Thomas Massie speaking for himself with Tucker Carlson. Play for him.
And so just to frame the conversation around that idea, what was your margin of victory in the last race in Kentucky?
In the last race, primary, I got 75% of the vote. There was somebody that got 13% and somebody that got 12%.
75% of the vote.
And in the race before that, I got 76%. And then the race before that, I got 81%.
81%. Now, the race with the race you get 81%, you were already having conflict with Trump at the time, right?
Yeah. At the time, he was saying to throw me out of the party. He called me a third-rate grandstander, to which I claim I'm at least second-rate.
Fair. So I'm going through this because I think it leads to today, and it makes a really interesting point. So what is the current polling in your race?
It's a single point lead for me. It's not very fluid. They've spent $10 million against me. And when I say they, I hope we get into they.
Yes.
And it's going to be close. It's just going to be, the result is going to be based on who turns out.
So it was 81% margin, 76, 75, like full-on blowouts in the Republican primary in your district in Kentucky, and now it's within a couple of points and you could lose.
Correct.
And the difference is they have spent $10 million against you. So I don't think anyone would dispute that. That's the difference. The money poured into this race from outside of Kentucky is basically pushing you to the point of almost losing, and you may lose. Where'd that money come from?
Well, it didn't come from regular people. It's come from billionaires, and 95% of it, at least 95%, has come from the Israeli lobby. So I'll give you their proxies. The RJC, which is the Republican Jewish Coalition, AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, Miriam Adelson, Paul Singer, and John Paulson went together. They funded a PAC called MAGA Kentucky, which is neither MAGA nor Kentucky. But when the ad
any of them live? Who are those three people?
They have been. Miriam Adelson is the gambling magnate who ironically makes money from the Chinese now gambling and not in Las Vegas.
And
so
she's
much.
literally an Israeli.
Yeah, she was born there.
Yep.
She's given over $200 million to the president. He puts her on the stage. He says that she's influenced his own policy and attitudes toward Israel. And so she's trying to buy a congressional seat in Kentucky, along with the rest of these groups that are probably, by the way, getting her money as well.
See, now, the thing is, you have to be able to be pro-Trump and talk about this, because this is Trump missing it. You have to be able to do that. I mean, again, in life, when you're dealing with people, it can be pastors, it can be friends, it can be law enforcement. You have to be able to say, I'm pro-law enforcement, but I can say in this particular situation, they abuse their power. You have to be able to do that. Now what's happening is everybody has become, a lot of times, just stupid. They don't really want to have a cognitive exercise. So if you're critical of law enforcement in a specific scenario, as a cop for 25 years, and I was very critical of law enforcement during COVID, that doesn't make me anti-law enforcement. It doesn't make me anti-law enforcement to say in that specific situation, law enforcement was wrong. But that's what people, you say one thing bad about Trump. You're anti-MAGA. Well, MAGA is now Miriam Adelson. MAGA now is a Republican Jewish coalition. And here's the thing. Again, I don't care about the Jew this and the Jew that. I don't really care about any of that. What I care about is you have a foreign entity influencing the United States in a way that nobody else is allowed to influence the United States. You don't have a Russian AIPAC that's put together by Russian Americans, because that's what they'll say about AIPAC, which is AIPAC, Jewish Coalition, Miriam Adelson, I'm reading the names, Paul Singer and John Paulson are the ones who funded a PAC called MAGA Kentucky. And ain't one of them MAGA. They are MIGA, which is Make Israel Great Again, but they are certainly not MAGA. And they're all behind this person named Eddie Gillane. But anyway, so my point is with Israel is, if you can't have an AIPAC will say, well, we're all American Israelis or American Jews. That's what we are. Okay, so I'm assuming then and they exclusively lobby for us to send our $4 billion per year over to Israel for their missile defense shield, okay, and for all their other stuff, as well as a myriad of other things, okay, that Israel is allowed to get away with. And us spending $2 billion a day on this war and now blockade. And I believe we're on day 70 now of the 4-day war that Mossad and Netanyahu said would take 4 days. And by the way, the IDF was against this war. Our own CIA was against this war. And who talked Trump into it? Netanyahu with Mossad on a Zoom call in the Oval. I mean, in the Situation Room. That's what happened. If you're okay with that because you, for some reason, are a Genesis 12, 2, and 3 Christian, instead of being a Luke 3, 8, and 9 Christian, where Jesus basically says, don't tell me about how your father is Abraham. God can make children of Abraham out of these stones. Please read the Bible. If you're somebody who is, and I know I'm preaching to the choir right now, I'm yelling at the wrong people, but forward it to the people who need to be yelled at. If you're just going to sycophantically follow Israel, then you have to sycophantically support them ridding us of 35,000 Christian homes in Lebanon. You have to support Israel being anti-Christian in order to be Christian. Because, by the way, Israel on its own is anti-Christian. They are not a Christian nation. They are a Talmud nation. They are a Judaism Christian. I mean, they are a Judaism nation. There is no Judeo-Christianity. There is Christianity and there's Judaism, and people who are trusting in the law will go to hell because there is no spotless lamb sacrifice. So to sit there and you're on your stage as a pastor with Israeli flags all over your stage, endorsing basically a second way to heaven? Because I've never heard a pastor actually say that the Jews who aren't in Christ are going to hell. They just continue to support them and continue to support them and continue to support them. Based on what theology? They were cut off by God, then why are they not cut off by the Christian? And what I mean by that is no more cut off than any other religion. I'm not sycophantically anti-Jew either. Some people are. It's a Jew under every rock. No, I'm not that way either. There's other sources. There's other agendas in the world. You have a London Banking agenda. You have a CCP agenda. You have a World Economic Forum agenda that was run by a Nazi and now is run by a Jew. So, I mean, there's other entities. You have Trump meeting with the Brazilian Prime Minister Lula today. There's all sorts of you have the Canadian agenda. I don't want a Canadian super PAC either, do you? That tells us when to go to war? That you have a Canadian, not a super PAC, a Canadian lobbying institution that assigns an agent to every single congressman or woman? Do you want that? Then why is Israel allowed to do it? That's my point. I don't want, what are we doing in Iran right now? What's happening? How's that going? Could Alex Jones, Sean Ryan, could we be any more right? Tucker Carlson? And then Tucker goes too far. And then like Bilzerian goes too far too, because they kind of get into being pseudo-Islam. Islamists are going to hell too. They're motivated by hell. They're going to hell. There is one true God, and there's only one way. Therefore, since we have been justified through faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ, through whom we have gained access by faith into this grace in which we now stand. And we rejoice in the hope of the glory of God. That's it, folks. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. That's it.
Amen.
That's it. To sit there and act like there's a pseudo second way when none of the pastors who actually pimp all those Israeli flags, none of them actually believe there's this second way, but they never actually will tell a Jew that they're going to hell. Do they? I would love to see it. I've never seen it. I just hear support the nation of Israel, support the nation. They're Mike Huckabee people. Support the nation of Israel. I hope they get it all. Why? Based on what? Based on what? Why would you be supporting Israel when God doesn't? I mean, have everybody read the Bible? I mean, can we go back? I mean, why do we not have a great nation state of Israel right now? Why? Because they were, now why were they scattered? Hey, Aaron, why were they scattered? Why did that happen? Because they rebelled against God. God warned them, if you rebel against me, I'm going to scatter you all over the earth.
Oh, yeah.
And then they did, and they're scattered, and then we're supposed to support them. When God doesn't. Now, listen, anybody, God's not a respecter of person who wants to come to Christ, come to Christ. But it's just an absolute fallacy. And again, let me just reiterate this one last time. I treat Israel like I treat Spain, Portugal, France, England, Canada, Mexico. I consider Israel to be a pseudo-ally of the United States, as I consider England to be a pseudo-ally. They might be, they might not be. I don't know. Let me show you this now. Back to Thomas Massey, because that's who's getting rid of Thomas Massey, is the Jewish lobby. Can we all just acknowledge it? By the way, they have to register the $10 million that was spent for one congressional seat in Kentucky. They're trying to get rid of a man who votes 96% of the time with Trump in the name of MAGA. And it's exclusively the Jewish lobby. 95%, 9.5 million of that 10 million spent against Thomas Massey came from the Jewish lobby. All right, let's go here. Lauren Witzke video. Great follow on Twitter, by the way, Lauren Witzke. Paul Singer is a billionaire donor who has made it his personal mission to further the LGBTQ agenda. That's one of the people that's funding the efforts to defeat Thomas Massey. To further the LGBTQ agenda after his son turned gay. Singer donated millions to causes that work to force churches and Christians to hire homosexuals. This is trying to get rid of Massey. And Trump's supporting it. And you won't say anything negative about Trump, so you're going to have to support then. If you're going to be like that, then you have to support LGBTQ, because Trump is doing it to get rid of Massey. You don't do that, folks. Watch this video. Play it for me.
Eddie Galrine is bought and paid for by the LGBTQ mafia. Far-left trans activist billionaire Paul Singer is bringing his trans madness to Kentucky. Singer is spending millions to remove Massey. The gay mafia will own woke Eddie.
And over a period of time, I and my team became quite friendly with legacy gay rights groups, including hardcore Democrats.
Paul Singer is a major pro-gay, pro-trans activist who works with far-left hardcore Democrats.
And I became very interested in being a funder of gay rights groups.
Galrine doesn't share our Kentucky values. He is with the weirdos. And if Galrine wins, the weirdos take over. On May 19th, say no to woke Eddie Galrine and his billionaire club of LGBTQ weirdos. Re-elect Thomas Massey for Kentucky, for America. Restore Freedom PAC is a project of Hold the Line PAC. Hold the Line PAC is responsible for the contents.
That's the man that Trump is funding against Thomas Massey. You have to face it. You have to face it. And if Trump was in the room, you say to his face, you should not be funding President Trump. You should not be using Paul Singer, a gay marriage advocate, a gay rights advocate, a trans right advocate, to get rid of Thomas Massey, who was on the right side of trans, who is on the right side of gay marriage, who is on the right side of the Iran war, who's on the right side of the debt. And you're going to try to get rid of a man who votes 96% of the time with you for a man who will vote 10% of the time with you? All because Thomas Massie stood up against you for the Epstein release of the Epstein files, which you should have released anyway. Now we're seeing these Howard it's Lutwick, right, Aaron? Lutnick. Sorry, I do that every time. Poor Aaron. Lutnick. We're seeing that. By the way, the word coming, I believe I got this from Bannon's War Room, was or maybe it may have been Alex Jones. So I'm going to say Alex Jones. That feels right. But anyway, I believe it's from Alex Jones. Is that it's Alex Jones. I remember. If President Trump heard what Lutnick said in his, and by the way, why is it sequestered? Why is it private? Why is anything private that we pay for? I'm talking about court hearings, congressional hearings. Why is it private? Why are we not allowed to see it? Now I have to then depend on Ro Khanna's description of what he said? No, thank you. I don't want to listen to Ro Khanna's transcription of events. I want to hear it for myself. How many of you would love to hear Howard Lutnick talk about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein that he said ended in 2005 until he was on his island in 2012? Just curious. I mean, and again, remember why Trump turned on Marjorie Taylor Greene. He said that you need to take your name off of the release petition because releasing the Epstein files will hurt my friends. It ain't going to hurt Trump. It'll hurt Howard Lutnick. That's the thing. So when Trump is wrong, we as the true MAGA people, because Trump is a banner holder of MAGA. He's not MAGA. Make America Great Again was around before him. It was actually called MAGA before that. Then you had America First. You had the Tea Party. All of those things that were then destroyed by infiltrators who came in and said they were MAGA, said they were Tea Party, said they were America First, and they were actually Mark Levin, and then took over. And we became the warmongering neocon right again, which is nothing more than neocon left. Because all of the money you have the $40 billion that have been made off of oil transactions in the Iran war based on Trump's announcements, carefully timed investments right before Trump announces something. So, I mean, it couldn't all be about money like World War I was and like World War II was it?
No.
But anyway, so you have to be willing to go out and you have to be willing to say these things. Massey was, and now he's being excoriated. Okay, and I don't even agree with Massey all the time. He's ticked me off. He got a little bit idiotic with the Epstein stuff. He did. He made a fool of himself at least once with the Epstein stuff. But anyway, because he was probably giving Trump back what Trump was giving him. Was just trying to be retributive in nature. But I mean, whatever. But this right here, $10 million, basically spent to remove Donald Trump, and one of those persons, a gay rights, trans rights activist. That's who we want. We want Eddie Gallien or whatever his name is, who's going to go in there and take Thomas Massie's place, who was put into place by the Jewish lobby and by trans activists. Also, Trump can get even with Massey. So then we end up with a Republican who votes like a Democrat. All right, 10-16, that's good. 427 people on. Love you guys. Stick around for the post game if I don't remind you of that. We got rants here?
Yeah, we got 5.
All right, 5 rants. Let's hit them.
CA1960 donated $10. My California has to turn red.
California is not nearly as blue as people think it is, and it should turn. I don't know if it could turn red. It really is. It is fervently blue. But the problem is, how blue really is it? Because with the corrupt elections and the gerrymandering and with the illegals voting, because you automatically get registered as a voter if you get a driver's license there, which you're not allowed to get. But that's so Democrats can say, we're not issuing them, voter registrations. They're just issuing them. Again, it's the Potomac two-step. It's unplausible deniability. We're not issuing them voter registrations. We're not doing that. We're just giving them driver's licenses, which automatically register them to vote. Again. So I wish that I'm Californian too, by the way, born in Redondo Beach, LA. So I wish it was that way. And that makes Karen Bass my mayor. Oof. All right, next one.
Robin Aroni donated $10. Thanks, TLP, for another great podcast. See you.
Oh,
Friday
yeah, Robin
on
Aroni,
Instagram.
thank you so much for saying that about Instagram right there. Instagram tomorrow night, exclusive. Well, it's Instagram and TikTok. On Instagram tomorrow night, 8 o'clock for Bible study only, but it'll be a thumper talking about gossip. So be ready. It's a good one. So be ready. So come on, the Bible study. Getting a lot better interacting with everybody. Aaron and Tommy, my son, set me up. Got 2 big screens, so I'm interacting a lot more. So it was a lot of fun. I really only got done with about 10% of my Bible study, and then I was just answering questions off of it. Was all stayed somewhat close to the subject matter. So yeah, join me tomorrow night, Instagram and TikTok only. There's no replay either. So that's it. So join me tomorrow night, Bible only. That's the answer. A relationship with Jesus, one at a time, each person getting saved turns the country around. Not electing Republicans. I love Republicans. I want them to be elected, but that's not what's going to turn the country around. Look what this Eddie Galeen would be called a Republican. He would be elected by a trans activist. Okay, again, it's just the names now. MAGA means Mark Levin and Sean Hannity. MAGA means people like Ben Shapiro who was a never Trumper. That's what MAGA is now. So it all, the names don't mean anything anymore. I'll go next one for me here.
DebPow50 donated $10. Thank you, TLP, for bringing the truth. Praying every day for the midterms.
Yeah, DebPow50. The thing, yeah, we got a shot now. I mean, we're winning a lot of seats just by redistricting, which is, it would never be, we would own the House and Senate every single time if we weren't redistricted out of all of the New England states. And by the way, I just focus on New England. We're redistricted out. We're gerrymandered out of Illinois. We're gerrymandered out of New York. We're gerrymandered trying to gerrymander us out of Virginia. It was pretty fair before. And gerrymandered certainly out of California, Washington, Oregon, and numerous other states. New Mexico. So Hawaii, gerrymandered out. So this is just even Steven. Now we're getting back seats that we always should have had. All right, go to the next one.
Jules 21 Hours donated $10. TLP rocks. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jules. And everybody like and share, get this out to as many people as you possibly can. It is a unique podcast because we're blending politics with the Bible, with the Word. You almost always hear me quoting Scripture. We're blending the two. We're combining the two, showing you that the answer is not republicanism. It's Jesus. Pure Jesus, the Word of God. God has magnified his word above all his name. We got any more, or is that it?
One more.
Hit it.
California 1960 donated $5.
Hey,
I could never
California.
leave Foundation Church, greatest church in the nation.
Amen. Thank you. Hey, it said actually called you California 1960. That was pretty cool. Is that Grok talking, right?
Yeah.
That's Grok. So, hey, Grok is learning. But anyway, thank you, man. Thank you so much for saying that about the church. Oh, yeah. Join me, Foundation Church, this Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern time, no matter where you are. Join us either live or in person. If you're watching right now, make sure that I meet you at the door. If you come in person, I'm out there shaking hands with everybody after church. Come and meet me. I'd love to talk to you for a couple. I won't have a lot of time in the line, but anyway, I'd love to meet you and talk to you at least for a couple seconds outside. So come to the church if you can. Don't go to a lukewarm, COVID caving, bent over church. No matter what, if you don't have a good church in the area, just join us online. And good church means preaching the word of God, hellfire, brimstone, and the promises of God, all blended together into the glorious thing called the Word of God. All right, love you guys. Appreciate you. Stick around for the postgame. See you tomorrow night on Instagram or TikTok, or see you Sunday morning at 10 a.m. If I don't, I'll see you Tuesday night at 9 a.m. back here on the TLP. Love you guys, and God bless you.
Could you guys close some things for me, you think? Welsh, could you push? Thank you. Can you push? Push. Good job. Back. Can you push that one? Push that door. Thank you, Walsh. Sweet Pea, can you close that one? Good job. Okay, last one. Can you close that door? Can you close that one? Sweetie, can you close that one? Walsh, can you close that door? Push it closed. Good job. You get a bite. You get a bite. You get a bite.
再通過最終嘅演唱，醫生，係咁啦。嚟，快啲，得 OK。好，爸，啱啦。
Controversial comments about Hamza Chimaev, calling him things like a Chechen whore, a terrorist, and making jokes about his.
I am terrorist for him. I am. I'm gonna take off his head. I'm gonna kill him. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Come on. Yeah. That's the one. Come on. Oh, no! Here it is. That's beautiful. No way. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Come on. No! Yeah. Oh! Come on. Yeah!
I like to say money. I like to say cash. I like to say that's too far.
About a lot of political things, but underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.